Hey, what is up, traders? This is Shane here with Futures IO coming at you live from Cassopolis, Michigan, streaming across the world. We're pleased to have you here, and I want to thank you for joining us for our 423rd webinar event. Quick word about Futures IO. It's a positive and helpful community. We've got over 150,000 polite and respectful members, hundreds of educational videos, and dedicated to bringing you quality education with webinars such as this. Speaking of those educational videos, they are available over on our YouTube channel, and they cover just about every possible topic you'd care to name. It's totally worth checking out. While you're there, do us a favor, hit that like button and share it with your trading friends, and subscribe for all the latest updates. On social media, you can follow us on Facebook and also on Twitter at FuturesIO. Today, we've got an event with our friends over at EdgeClear. Morad Askar, aka Futures Trader 71, is in the house, along with Max Timmins, Director of Brokerage Services. We're going to be going over it's a pretty exciting new development for the guys over at EdgeClear and their clients. It's the release of EdgeProX, the proprietary trading platform. It's designed for traders that are just looking to simplify their tools and their costs so they can focus more on their trading. After the presentation, we're gonna have a Q&A session with Morad and Max. They're gonna be glad to answer any questions that you may have. Down there on your Zoom control bar, there's a Q&A button. If you hit that, you can view the other questions, you can upvote them, and you can ask your own. As always, the event's being recorded, and it's gonna be posted over on the Futures IO website and on YouTube within 24 to 48 hours. Any questions that we don't get to, at least during this particular webcast, they're going to be posted on the webinar thread where we can all continue the conversation. All right, I think we're about ready to get rolling here. Morad, how you doing, man?
Good. The biggest question I have right now is, how is the view of Earth from your International Space Station?
No, that's the Millennium Falcon right there.
It's Control Central, man. The view is fantastic.
Your altitude
it doesn't look nearly as rainy
miles.
up here, in Cassopolis as it is down on the real planet.
Excellent. It is trippy. Very cool. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Max, you doing all right?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Well, I think we're about ready to get rolling here. Whenever you guys are ready, you can take control.
All right, let me share my screen. There we go. Max, you've got the con.
Awesome. Well, I am going to get through the beginning portion of this as quickly as possible due to the fact that we want to show you some live data before the market closes. As always, derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not indicative of future results. So what are we going to go over today? We are going to kind of go over a quick little rundown on EdgeProX, who EdgeClear is. We're going to go over some heat map features, volume imprint features, some volume profile, TPO. Going to show you our advanced dome that has some MBO capabilities in there, and EdgePro Line and where to go for support, and finally cloud levels. So moving on, EdgeProX. What is EdgeProX? EdgeProX is an all-in-one solution for active traders. It has an advanced dome featuring MBO capabilities, volume profiling, and TPOs. It offers some cool heat map, volume imprints, large blocks that Morad is going to be going over, and a really cool feature, which is a cross-instrument trading where you can chart an ES contract and cross-trade it to the MES. It also offers cloud levels, so you can import specific levels on your chart. We are going to go over the EdgePro Line, which is an indicator that we developed. Fully functional, 300 plus studies, indicator laying. It's native on a Windows, Mac OS, and the Linux users out there. So if you have a Mac or a Linux, you can use EdgeProX. It runs on Rhythmic CQG or Rhythmic, and all of this for a total price of $34.99 a month. Now, who is EdgeClear? EdgeClear's objective is to simplify access to the markets through outstanding brokerage service and solutions built by a team of award-winning industry experts who also understand the complexities of trading. EdgeClear combines the best of technology, service, and risk control. Everything that EdgeClear does is trader inspired.
Very cool. Thank you
Now,
for that.
moving on to Morad, who's going to show the cool features of EdgeProX.
All right. So the first thing I want to say is you must be asking yourself, why did we even bother to create a platform? We actually did not create a trading platform. We went into a partnership with MotiveWave, which is a highly respected Java-based trading platform. And the idea behind this is I explored creating a platform from scratch, but there's so much on the market. So many people have already created platforms that it makes no sense for us to come along and reinvent the wheel, because our strength at EdgeClear, my strength as a trader, Max's strength as the director of a brokerage is to provide services or to trade. So what we don't want to do is spend 2 years and maybe a couple $1 million inventing something from scratch. So we went we found a partner who's great to work with in MotiveWave, and they created a version of their platform for our use so that we can focus on just developing the platform and providing something that most active traders can use without being distracted by, you know, the issues that come with creating a platform, API compatibility, connectivity, and so on and so forth. So for us, it's all about what can we stuff into this platform that traders can use without at the lowest cost possible. So MotiveWave does not offer a $34.99 version of their platform. This is actually this pricing here is not available to MotiveWave users. So that's where we're at. So I wanted to explain that in case you recognize what the platform is. This is my actual trading screen. So I'm not showing you some sort of a sample or whatever. This is what I'm looking at all day long. This is the heat map screen. This is my trigger screen. And what it shows is the standard heat map. So the heat map's been around since, the trading heat map's been around since 2014. Bookmap came out and provided this to the general public. I worked very closely with them before the launch, but now it's available within EdgeProX, and it's got all the features. And in fact, there's some upgrades coming up with the heat map. What I do like about this that is more advanced is the amount of control we have on the screen. So with this heat map, I can overlay this heat map on any type of chart. I can put it on a footprint chart and have it print and close and show you the close, or print what's live on a footprint, on a volume profile chart, on a market profile chart. It doesn't matter. We can overlay the heat map on there and see where the bids and offers are. You have the large dots. So this chart here consists of all of these studies. Don't have to have all these studies, but the order heat map is the coloring system. And you know, we can look at the different, we can adjust the opacity to see how much to govern how much of it we want to see on our screen. I do want to see what the bids and offers are. And this is the live market here. This is the rhythmic feed, which is my favorite feed, which I think is higher quality than pretty much anything out there currently. And I've got full depth, and you can see I can scroll and scroll up and down and see what the market's bids and offers are. And as the offers or bids are higher, they're colored maroon, and they go down to, you know, they go down to basically the black color. So if I reduce the filters all the way, this will show me the full spectrum. And all this means is at 4,200, this offer 229 lot is the highest offer in the book. So it colors it dark, and then it graduates the color. It gives a gradation of the colors all the way down to the lightest color, which it colors either black or blue, light blue. And again, we can filter these out. So I can take out anything but the 98th percentile. So we're looking here at the 98th percentile only. So I'm looking at where the deepest depth is. And I got to tell you, past performance is not indicative of future results. But when I see in the MBO, and we'll talk about the advanced DOM here, the advanced DOM is very, very important. When I see that there's a large block as part of a large offer, and I see the market colliding with it, this potentially creates a scalping opportunity or potential support. And if it does break, it creates support in the other direction once it breaks through. This is really not something that I saw before, had access to before, but I believe it's an excellent way to get perspective on how the bids and offers are created, how much of the bid and offer is a single block, and is it in the front, is it in the back of the inside market. So that's the heat map. Tons and tons of features here, but we won't dwell for very long. The next is the volume imprint. The volume imprint is also known in the trademarked name of a footprint, except it's trademarked, so we don't call it that. A volume imprint is just a way of organizing volume in a specific way. What I like to look at the volume imprint ladder, but the software provides you with a way to chart different things. You can chart a profile of the total that traded at each price. You can profile the bid ask, which is a common view. Let me turn off this indicator, this large lot indicator here. It's a little bit distracting, and it's something that we're working on currently. So this is the bid ask. This is a classic footprint showing you a heat map of where the largest sell prints and buy prints are. Buy prints blue, sell prints maroon. Again, the ladder, which is what I had. I like to see where the bar started and finished, and the little yellow dot, little yellow dot, this is fully configurable. The little yellow dot tells us where the point of control within that bar is, or where the highest volume occurred within that bar. We can look at the delta. So we're seeing, I got to zoom in here to see all the deltas. See that? We're seeing what the delta is, which is how much traded at the offer minus how much traded at the bid, or how much was bought minus how much was sold. And it tells you where that delta is along the bar. And of course, you can look at the actual volume, which is the classic footprint display, and it's showing you where the bar opened and closed as well. So this is the volume imprint. And of course, I have a colored time and sales next to it, which we can turn on, turn off. And then at the bottom, we have what's called a volume delta. Feel free to ask your question as I'm going through. We're going to barrel through here because we have a live market for the next 15 minutes, and it's best to see it operating live as opposed to something that has stopped. So feel free to ask your question, and Max will interrupt me, or Shane might interrupt me and ask that question, and I can answer it best in real time. Again, volume delta can be added to pretty much any chart. You can add it to your heat map or to your volume chart or whatever. So that's the volume imprint. Next, what we wanted to demonstrate, and these are just limited things that we're showing you here, the volume profile, which is a big thing that I use. This is the volume profile. Right now, I have it somewhat as showing blue for the entire profile, in gray for the value area. This is a full session profile. Yes.
Real quick. Can you customize and show delta imbalances in the volume profile?
Yes, you can. You can just go into settings, and you have an entire tab for a crazy amount of imbalances. You can show standard imbalances, 300%, 200%, whatever. You could show different levels with different colors. You can mark them. You can change the font for the imbalance, but you can also show absorption which is actually a pretty cool indicator that I use not only here in the volume imprint, but also on the volume profile. But you do have volume imbalances. So just to talk about volume imbalances for a minute, just to carry that theme forward, this orange line here, and sometimes it's green. You see that green line? Hang on, it's reprinting. Let's go back a little bit. See this green? These are actually volume imbalance absorption levels. This is showing that the market has an iceberg in that area, and the iceberg is taking in a lot. It's being bought a lot, but price is not moving. And these tend to mark highs and lows. Okay, and it doesn't happen, it happens after the fact, of course, but it's very quick. It's showing where, this is something that you can put on your volume imprint or your volume profile chart. You can see these orange ones down in the lower end. You can see where the absorption was or started. And this is an absorption indicator that is built into this platform. But this is a profile, and there are many, many, many settings. You can make it RTH only. You can set it to point left, right. You can control a lot in terms of what the profile can do. You can shade the area, or you can just have a line for the value area, the point of control. You can superimpose your footprint on it. You can, or let's call it the volume imprint. You can put your VWAP on it, or mid, or whatever. There's a lot you can stack on these volume profiles, okay? So that's the volume profile. On this chart, the way I like to use it, it's a volume profile with the delta underneath it. So you can see today we traded higher, but the delta did not come off, which is something we've seen for weeks now. It just seems like sellers, somebody's hedging heavily in the futures. The next topic we have for you here as we run through is built into this at no extra cost, is a TPO chart, or a market profile chart. And this chart allows you not only to show TPOs in a classic way. So let's turn off the scaling lock, and you can see there are letters in there. We can shade those letters, color them, or show them as letters alone. We can merge these profiles together. So I can right click and say merge with the next profile. So I'm looking at 2 days worth of profiles. You can see the outline of 1 day over another. You can merge multiple days together. Here we go. So we can see that the market's been trading a lot in terms of TPOs, or time. For those of you who understand market profiling, have been trading between 41.77 and 41.55. Tons and tons of trading going on in here. And then I can also unmerge all of it and get my single profiles, or I can also plan to go and show a volume profile next to it. So if I want to compare the volume profile with the market profile, I can show both, which is just the power of the software. Is you can superimpose a bunch of things. You can extend the IB. You can do, you can look at the letters individually. So here, what we have, if you want to see how the profile was created, you can go and break out the profile and see where the brackets, how the brackets traded. This is a way of detecting one-time framing on the profile, things like that to establish trend. So there's a lot of power in this. That's the volume profile indicator.
Hey, Morad, can you go
market profile indicator?
Can you go back to the volume profile and just kind of show them how we can quickly draw a volume profile using the drawing tools?
The volume profile.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the tool.
Isn't it? I have not used that. It's in here,
right
isn't
there.
it?
Yeah, that's it. Yep, and then you can drag that over, and you can create a volume profile on the fly. Right?
Yeah, you can create a composite profile.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so that's out there. There's a lot, folks. I'm going to tell you for what we're charging, it's quite incredible. I've been using this, by the way, just to let you know, full disclosure, I've been using this as my main platform for the last 3 months. We've had it for about 7 or 8. It's been up and running, but for the last 3 months, I have not had to look at anything else. I love the ability to target. So if I have a trade setting up, I can quickly figure out my R factor. So, you know, here's my stop, here's my target, and it'll give me an R factor. It'll compute the R factor in here. It'll give me an idea if my trade is upside down or what. There's a whole lot in here that you can put on a chart and just impose and superimpose. If there are questions about the market profile, let me know. I can always dial it back and go back to something that I've talked about that you may need clarification on. That's cool too. We don't want to keep you here very long. We want to introduce this platform. We really think it's the cat's meow. We think it's a great product. And I know that's biased coming from me since I'm a part of EdgeClear, but I do believe that I don't need to look beyond what's offered here. So the advanced DOM, there is more in this DOM than I can cover in the next, 20 minutes or 10 minutes. And we want to wrap this up in about 10 minutes and take your questions or let you go on your merry way. We want to invite you to do a trial. It's a 14-day free trial that comes with a rhythmic feed. If you haven't had one for over a year, it's live data or a delayed feed. But let's look at the advanced DOM here. So mine is very simple. It's got cloud notes. These are levels that I establish every day. It's something we share with Convergent Trading's members. You can establish your own. You can share it with a friend. It's a CSV file that contains a few parameters. The instrument, ES, the price, description of what that price represents, a foreground color, background color, and how thick you want the zone to be. And it plots it on here. And also it plots it right on the heat map as well. So you can have it both on the DOM and on the heat map. Oops. And you have your levels in front of you. And for me, the reason I use them and the reason they're on the cloud, they're on a cloud server, a web server, is so that other members can pull these. And when I update it, it's updated for everybody live. So let's say you have some friends you trade with within Futures IO or a chat room or something, and you trade the ES and your buddy's an NQ expert. So you commit to doing the levels for the ES and share your homework, and your buddy does it for the NQ. And then you put those levels in a Dropbox, Google Drive, or whatever, anything that has a URL. And then you provide that as your cloud levels URL. And then everybody that you provide the URL to is able to now pull those levels and have them displayed. And if at any point during the session you update those levels, it's updated for everybody immediately. You can set the update to 5 minutes or every minute, and it'll keep checking the server and making sure that the file hasn't changed. If it has, then it pulls the data down and everybody's looking at the same thing. I think this is a very great collaborative tool. And also I do them once, right? So if I start from home and I come into the office, as long as the cloud levels, you can point them to your hard drive or you can point them to a web server. As long as you're pointing to the same web server, the levels show up wherever you go, which is really convenient. So I just jumped into cloud levels from the advanced DOM, but the advanced DOM for me has the notes, which has the cloud levels. This is your order column. This is where you can cancel orders or whatever. I don't know why it's disabled. You can cancel orders or whatnot. The bid column, of course, shows the bids, but what's important is it has MBO data in it. So if you're using Rhythmic, you can turn on MBO data and you get to see things like, let's just do a one lot. if I offer this 4,200 and a quarter, you see the little white line there. The little white line is my actual place in queue. It's not an estimate. It's not a guess. It is where I am in that queue. If I move my order down, it puts me at the back of the queue. It's kind of long, so we don't see it. But in time, as the market moves up and those who are queued in front of me pull their orders and put them back in, you'll see the line move closer and closer and closer to the price column, which means I'm in the front of the line. If it's pushed right up against the price column, as soon as it trades that price, I should be filled before anybody else. So it has actual place in queue using MBO data. It's not a guess. In addition to that, of course, it's showing you where the blocks are, how these bids and offers are broken up within the actual DOM. I know somebody somewhere is going to ask, well, do you have an iceberg indicator? Or do you have that sort of stuff, a stop indicator? That's all stuff that we can now create as we take control of this, of the EdgeProX version. We're able to develop these things and offer them out to EdgeClear's members. So the advanced DOM has the volume profile on it, but there's also P&L, bid delta, bid count, you know, all these other things that you can add to the DOM. You can make it so that you can double click on the center column to recenter. I like that for scalping. I don't want to climb up here and hit the recenter column. There's a lot here. There's also, you can set the price ladder column to show all kinds of things. What's the high? What's the open? What's the low? What's the previous close? Those are all colored into your price ladder so you can see where things are. So you can see the prior close, 58 and a quarter, the high of the day, the high of the session currently, things like that. The high of the session being 97 and a quarter, and we're about to push it, things like that. So there's a lot to the advanced DOM. You can set the buttons. There's a lot of customization. So if I go to buttons, I can choose to add more buttons. Give me a break even button, boom, apply, and now I have a break even button down here, or I can just remove it, take it off, apply. I like to keep things simple, buy market, sell market, flatten, and cancel all. You can control your brackets from here. You can set brackets. You can set as many brackets as you want with some pretty sophisticated trade management settings. And all of that can be done right from the advanced DOM. The EdgePro Line. So people get confused by this because the EdgePro Line is something I use in my prop shop. I developed this in 2003, called it the Theo average. And what it is we take a trade and it's tracking where our true break-even point is. We call it the EdgePro Line because we want to know what is our edge versus our theoretical average. An example of this is if I took a long here, if I took a long at 96.50 trading the breakout, and I took that long for 2 contracts. The platform, most platforms will show your average at 96.50. Okay, you entered 2 at 96.50, which is true. But let's say I take one off at 97.50. So now I've booked 4 ticks on 1 contract with 1 contract left. What should my average now be? Or what should my scratch point be? Can anybody figure that out real quick? It's very, very simple math. Okay. The average is going to be, because I booked 4 ticks on 1 lot and there's a second lot remaining, my average is actually 41.95 and a quarter. It would require the market to move from 97 and a quarter all the way through my entry to 95 and a quarter on the second lot for me to use the P&L to fund the trade, to use that P&L to scratch my trade. And so the EdgePro Line, and I might have one here, market's just closed.
Hey, boss, I would have definitely been able to help you with that answer, but I was answering some questions over here. So
What's that?
the answer to your question.
Oh. I think it might have wiped it out, but there should be some trades in here somewhere. I'm not sure where. Actually, I know why. It's because we were trading lower. But the EdgePro line essentially just follows the action around. Why is this? I don't know what's going on here, but the EdgePro line essentially shows you at any given time where your break-even point is. Where does this matter? It matters when you trade multiple contracts. It matters when you are scalping. It matters when you're campaigning. So if I get in on a trend and I add, the EdgePro line comes in closer to the inside market, but if I take something off, it drops dramatically. The distance between where the market is and where the EdgePro line is essentially your unrealized profit. And we know that if I'm long and all of a sudden the market's underneath the EdgePro line, I am now experiencing a drawdown. So what it does is it gives us a visual idea or an accurate price at which we break even. And if we are below it and we're short, then we're losing money overall on the trade. And then if we are short and we are above it, then we are losing money. So what we want to see is, if we're long, we want to see the EdgePro line as we scale out. We want to see it fall off the screen completely, and now we can just relax, let the trade run. That's what it's designed for. The other thing we wanted to cover is the cloud levels. So I talked about this a little bit. The cloud levels, if you have not used this before, it's really, really useful. It is a great way for someone who's mentoring, or someone who's trading in a group, or someone who just wants to keep their information on the screen, but be able to update it in real time. This is how you do it. You do it with the cloud levels. You can layer cloud levels, so you can pull cloud levels from Shane, and you can pull cloud levels from Mike and show them both on your screen. You can show as many cloud levels as you like, as long as the URL or the location is different. You can layer these on top of each other. And as I said, cloud levels, if they're updated live on the cloud server, then they will show up live on your DOM if you have a notes column and you have it shown on a DOM, or on the screen if you wish to show them on the screen. So here you see my cloud levels are right on the screen. Prior day's high, the different stock zone levels, the century figure at 4,200. If I go to the server and move these around, they'll just update immediately. Okay.
That's a great feature.
Yeah, it's very, very useful. It's like, it cannot be understated. So we'll wrap this up. We'll take questions. But first, I wanted to make sure you knew that if you have questions or if you have concerns, of course, the first thing I would advise you to do is just to take a demo. You can do that at edgeprox.com. But if you need help, go to support.edgeclear.com. Email us at edgeprox@edgeclear.com. You can always go to the live chat widget on edgeclear.com on the website at the bottom left corner, so you can speak to someone. And of course, we're more than happy for you to call in with questions about the software. Again, to get a demo, 14-day, no obligation demo, just go to edgeprox.com and fill out the form, and that'll set the process off. If you have live rhythmic data, it's ideal to use that data, but to switch while you're testing the software, to switch to simulation, to the built-in simulator. The software comes with its own simulator, or you can use a live paper, a real-time data paper account from CQG or Rhythmic. We do not have it enabled for crypto. We don't have it enabled for Forex. We don't have it enabled for stocks. EdgeClear is a futures broker, a futures specialist, direct market access specialist. And so we provide access through CQG and Rhythmic. We think those are the best feeds out there, Rhythmic particularly. And we have, Max can tell you about the fact that we have very special pricing for Rhythmic. It's not 25 cents a contract, it's 10 cents a contract at EdgeClear. I would recommend you take a demo with Rhythmic and check it out for yourself. There's a lot that you get this layout, by the way, as part of the default, you get the layout that I'm using to trade with. And of course you can change it, close things that you don't like or whatever. But feel free to ask questions. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Yeah, outstanding. It looks like a heck of a platform, dude. I'm a self-professed liquidity hunter, and I'm going to be contacting you soon. Hey, we do have a lot of questions, and it seems like a lot of them kind of fall into the pricing and motive wave areas. People want to know if they already have an existing brokerage account, can they get EdgeProX without, or do they need to open with EdgeClear?
Customers would need to open up an account through EdgeClear to gain access to EdgeProX. But if you're with another brokerage firm, we'd love to chat with you, talk to you about it, figure out a way to make it work with EdgeClear. We're very competitive over here. We have a great team, very experienced. So whatever the case may be, we reach out to us and we'll be happy to help.
Excellent. And that goes for the demo as well, correct?
They could sign up for a demo. They'll get access to a Rhythmic delayed demo account, which bypasses the CME rules and regulations. So you'll be able to test it out.
Excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
Anybody can get a demo, but if you want to subscribe or lease the software, it really is something we're building for EdgeClear members, and we appreciate the support. If you need a broker, we're competitive. Come clear with us, and that helps us build the platform even further.
Yeah, absolutely. So then now if the software is based on motive, then are motive indicators easily imported or loaded into it?
Yes, uses the same SDK, API, depending on the version that you have. I mean, if you need features that are in the Motive Wave Ultimate version, then it's that we don't have that. We have a very specific version that we've modified and labeled, and it's best to send an email to EdgeProX@edgeclear.com and ask that question. And for your particular situation, we'll do what we can to make it work.
So then the base rate, call it rounded off at 35 a month, that is to lease the software. The data fees are extra.
Correct. So you could power it with CQG or Rhythmic, depending on what exchanges you want. It could vary, but like Morad was saying, we do have our pricing for Rhythmic is $25 minimum with 10 cents inside transaction fee. So after 250 contracts, that minimum goes to zero.
Yeah, it's 10 cents a side, which is a great deal for something as powerful as Rhythmic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt. And having full depth for 25, yeah, that's pretty solid.
What else do we have?
Oh, sorry, I apologize. They wanted to, are you able to pop out additional windows for multiple screens?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy to do that. You can, so I have what's called an overview. Unfortunately, the data, the markets are closed. This chart is my overview chart. So you have the indices, the four bottom charts are the main indices. The middle are the fundamental products, so metals and treasuries, and in the top are the global macro products, the FX products. I can click on this and I can move it off screen. I can maximize it on another screen. I can create a separate layout on a separate screen and pop it in there. So if you have multi-monitor setup, or if you have, like I'm using and Max is using, a 4K TV, 55-inch 4K TV with some desktop management solution, it works beautifully. So you can pick up any chart and just double click and maximize it on any given screen, or you can close it and it's right back where the within the layout.
Excellent. Hey, JJ11 asked if there were video demonstrations of the features. Definitely, if you go over to edgeclear.com, all that's available on their website. I rolled through all that stuff last night, and I definitely recommend having a look for sure.
Yep, you can just go to edgeprox.com, and there's a link to access the videos. Morad's bringing it up right now.
Yeah, you can go to the
Right
video
there.
tutorials, and it's a pretty big library. We show you the features, we show you how to connect to the different connections. There's a lot here. We explain how the depth of market works, how to set up brackets, the layout management. It's all here, and this library just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. So we do have a lot of videos for you to watch. They're not very long either.
You got a couple of questions about different bar types, Renko bars, tick charts, that sort of thing. Are all those available with the platform?
Absolutely. You have, man, you have more bars than you could shake a stick at. I mean, there's just a lot of that you can set up all kinds of whatever bar settings you want, bar types, Heikin-Ashi, percent, line, Renko's in here. So a Renko is a subset of a certain type, high-low close bars, candlesticks, and so on. So it's, here's a bar type, a regular bar type. So it's just bars, and I can go in here and do Renko, hybrid Renko, which gives you the wicks, Ninja Trader Renko, constant volume, tick, linear, range bars, reversal bars. It's all there. It's tricky to deal with these questions within Zoom, right? Because as soon as you're reading the question, somebody votes on it, it just disappears.
Yeah, it's constantly shuffling around. That part is difficult to keep up. We might have to look at that, but yeah. Any updates to EdgeProX as far as we've got one person asking if there's an update available.
So the updates, we don't have like a time frame of when updates come out, but when we make changes, when you open it up, you'll get a prompt where it says there's a new version, so you'll be able to update, as well as when you're closing it out, closing out EdgeProX, it'll say, do you want to update the newest version, and you can update it.
Yeah, so we're making updates because we're actively developing the platform, and I want to tell you that we're very committed to continuing to actively develop the platform. Anchored VWAP is on its way. We're developing that now as the next feature. We have a long list of features we want to build, but we're releasing an update about once every week to a week and a half. And of course, you're entitled as a lease owner. Like, we don't have a lease and then a bunch of add-ons. It's all just there. For $35, you get what we are building included. But we're doing updates all the time, depending on what we're building.
There was a question in there that stated, what do we have built in to EdgeProX that MotiveWave doesn't have right now? It's the EdgePro Line is a main piece that we have built in there, but I also wanted to say, we spent probably 6 months, right, or so, working on this platform and developing into it and changing things around, updating the technology, updating the specs. So there's a lot of stuff in here that we spent a solid amount of time changing and updating and working with before we actually launched it.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of that. I mean, look, we're partners with MotiveWave. They own the frame of this car, and we're bringing our own wheels and seats. They own the frame and the engine, but we're bringing our own pieces to it and retrofitting it the way we want it. So the order heat map did not exist before we got involved. Cloud levels did not exist before we got involved. The EdgePro Line is an EdgeProX feature only. The way the open, high, low, close indicator was working very differently than it is now. So what we're doing is we're bringing a lot of industry expertise and competitiveness to the existing platform. We just launched this, by the way, 2.5 weeks ago, and we're focused right now on just bringing the features that the most traders need in order to reduce their costs that they're paying for other platforms. But the next phase, once we have that, the next phase will be to develop for ourselves, meaning you cannot get a lot of what's already developed, except for the EdgePro line, exists in the MotiveWave version. But moving forward, we would be developing for ourselves only. The main feature we'd want to develop is the reporting and performance tracking. That's going to be coming soon. And I can't talk about the other stuff that's coming until it comes out. So there's no sense talking about it now. But there will be a point where our version will fork off away from MotiveWave with more advanced features for traders.
There's a quick question here, Morad. If they work me hard enough, will we throw in the platform for free?
I don't know. Do you like to pay rent or not? Free platform. I mean, frankly, look, if $35 makes a huge difference for you, then I think traders focus too much on this sort of thing. To be honest with you, for what you get here, and again, personally, I could state this, I'm using this, and I've used Trader Pro where I was paying $1,650 a month. Talk about an expensive platform. I've used CQG Integrated Client for $850 a month, and that doesn't even include data. So I'm using this, and it's $35. And to me, it's like, if that's too much, then this is probably not for you. But we have to pay people to develop this. We have to pay MotiveWave for allowing us to use their engine. So turning around and passing it on for free is not a sustainable business plan. We don't aim to be cheap. We aim to be competitive. And the best you can do, if you like your broker and the people you work with, and we have an ace team here of award-winning brokers, you want to pay your broker and make sure they're healthy so they're not cutting corners. And we don't want to get into that realm. We don't seek to be cheapest or free. We seek to be the best. And in order to be the best, we need the support of Futures.io members and all of our members.
And also, I'm not going to be worked that easily. So
yeah.
Hey, you get what you pay for, right?
Anything else?
How about automated trading? Is that what's going on there?
So I can't speak to that at the moment. I mean, there is an SDK. There's a bunch of stuff available within that. There's a lot that can be done, but I would be speaking out of turn. I don't know if Max, you know much about what the capabilities are, but I would be speaking out of turn if I said that, yes, you can port your automated, your Ninja Trader or whatever strategy into this. I don't think I can address that at that time, but what we'll do is find out who you are and follow up we'll make an effort to follow up by email and see if we can answer your question for you.
There is an SDK, like Morad said, available, though there has been a lot of questions of developing into the platform. It is Java based, and we do have an SDK available, so you can build into it. So
extending the naked POC, that's in there. The stuff that you've seen from me is in there. The stuff that I use, it's a lot of it's in there. Look, a lot of these questions can be answered very simply. Just take a demo. Honestly, just take a demo. It doesn't cost you anything, but remember this. Take a demo where you'll turn it on and look at it. What you don't want to do is sign up for a demo and then have it expire and not look at it, because it's a one-time demo. We'll make exceptions here and there, but really it's a one-time demo. Just take a demo. And what we do is, in order to make it convenient for the trader, we offer a weekly walkthrough every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can show up after you've done your demo or after you've downloaded the platform, and you can watch a feature. We spend about 10-15 minutes on a feature for the walkthrough, but then we'll take your questions. If we can answer it on the spot, we will. If we can't, we will note your name down and get back to you. So take a demo, try it out, take it for a spin, If you have questions, you can show up as many Wednesday walkthroughs as you like. If you lease, we're able to continue to have that relationship with you. But most of what you're asking would be resolved by taking a demo. And you can get that at edgeprox.com.
Excellent. Well, I think that's about it, guys. I mean, unless you guys see anything else that needs to be happening, but great presentation. The software looks fantastic, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of effort, but I love it. It's great. It's been great. And by the way, Java, Bookmap is built in Java, extremely fast, very stable. Java was also something that I needed to get used to. I'm used to C++, platforms built on C++. But I've been very, very pleasantly surprised by how efficient this platform is. So if you're a tech head or a developer and you're concerned, I believe that someone like Bookmap or MotiveWave wouldn't go to Java unless it's up to par. So don't be afraid to try it out. And as we indicated, this is a native Mac compatible, native Linux compatible, as well as Windows. So if you're someone who's a developer, you're probably tinkering with a Linux machine or a Mac. It's kind of designed for that, and that's the beauty of Java. It's very portable. Looks like we've covered all of it.
Yeah, I think we got it. And anything else, we'll just put in the thread, man. Don't worry about it. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to answer some of the loose odds and ends. But I definitely wanted to thank you guys for joining us here today, Max and Morad. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having us.
Very well. All right, guys, that about wraps it up. I think we're pretty much done. Be sure to join us for our next event on Tuesday on May 11th. We're going to be speaking with Chris Gray of Earn to Trade. The topic is the cold, hard truth. Maybe you're not good enough. I like it. Also, right, don't forget, please visit our YouTube channel for more quality trading videos like this one. And while you're there, like it, share, and subscribe. Again, I thank you for joining us, and trade well.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.